evolve ensure grittiness.
It starts with an attitude. We need swagger, okay? Regardless of what happens out there. Doesn't matter. Keep your swagger.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Five Hole Fantasy Hockey Podcast. We're your hosts today, TJ, Raj, and Alan. What is going on, boys? How are we feeling tonight?
Hey, it is an exciting day for hockey and therefore the world.
And tomorrow is going to be a snooze fest. Here I was thinking, oh, let's do a live stream. Marner's going to sign. We'll do minute by minute, play by plays. Now it's what? It's Besser, it's Ehlers, Gavrikov. There's nobody left in free agency. It's over.
No, everybody's just re-signing at home or where there's no tax.
Oh, man. Florida did a tidy bit of business.
Yeah.
We're able to keep damn near everybody, if not everybody. Like, who? They kept Bennett, kept Marchand, kept Ekblad. We're good, right? They're good.
Yeah.
The gang's back. Yeah, pretty chunk of change going into free agency. Cap's going up by 7.5. We're going to get to that in a little bit. Five Hole Fantasy Hockey. You can find us on Twitter at FHF Hockey. We got the Fantasy Hockey Discord. Come check it out. And we're live on YouTube right now. 20 people in the chat as it stands right now. So come on in. I don't think I'm going to be doing that live stream tomorrow. I thought there was going to be a lot more to talk about, a lot more just stuff in general. And I think I'm going to go watch my daughter learn how to horseback ride instead.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
it's been a slow trickle the last couple of days here.
Yeah, and
trickling.
The news came out, so I don't know. I'm in from Copenhagen. I'm tired as fuck, but we got this news and notes show, free agency preview. We're going to talk a lot about these trades that have been happening. We've been doing the Dynasty Series. I hope you guys are digging it, but no like episodes in between, just Dynasty stuff. So we missed all of this in terms of talking about it, getting our read on it, but we want to get into that. Stars got a new head coach. We're going to start off there. Glenn Gulutzan, assistant coach with the Oilers the last two seasons, head coach of the Stars in 2011 through 13, 64, 57, 9 record, missed playoffs in both seasons. What do we know about Glenn Gulutzan? How's he going to change their mojo a little bit? Pete DeBoer was a rolling lines kind of guy. I don't know. Raj, do you got anything on Gulutzan?
Not specifically, no. The one thing that means, though, is it's not Manny Malhotra, which is awesome. Very awesome.
That was your guess,
but no,
the first guess, right?
Yeah, that's who I thought it was going to be. He's got a lot of heat just as a coach because Abby went crazy and won the cup and all that. And he's a rad dude and smart, and he's going to be in the minors until Foote gets fired. So, but no, I don't know anything about the new guy here. It's a pretty easy team to coach, though. I know that much.
Yeah, they got all the talent you could need.
Exactly.
What do you think, Al?
Just don't dog their goalie.
Yeah.
I just the only thing I could really find is don't judge that sample size of his first tenure. It was kind of weird. And then I guess one of Jim Nill's first moves was to fire him. So I don't even think it was it was probably just change of management. Wipe everything clean fresh and start over. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, Edmonton just back-to-back cup final appearances. Maybe he brings some of that with him. I don't know what kind of role he played in that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward mostly to hopefully we don't get it wasn't so much of rolling the lines as the season went on, but Pete DeBoer is kind of famous for that, spreading the time out a little bit. Just let the Stars play. Pun intended, I guess. Pietrangelo, this news just came out not very long ago, put out a comment, I guess, to the world, undergoing multiple major surgeries and commenting on that doctors recommended, I guess, that, something's got to go or it's going to be you. And he's got to step back from hockey. This had Alan and I were talking before you came on, Raj. Like this had a very like retirement message vibe to it. He's I got to step back. Hopefully, my body gets back to a point where, I can play meaningful hockey, but probably not. So it just had like a really kind of seemed like he was putting a bow on it. And what'd you say? One more year till UFA?
27. He's a UFA.
27?
So
Okay.
yeah, even if we hope for a Landeskog type situation, he'd probably be signing a new contract at that point, and who's going to give it to him for how much?
Yeah, it's I don't know. We're gonna talk about LTIR. It just so happens that he's gonna miss a full season, maybe more.
I mean, but if
But
he
maybe
retires, if he retires, that money doesn't count anymore. It's not even LTIR.
Yeah. We've just
Talk
seen
to you in
enough.
83 games. We'll see.
Exactly, right? Like, what is it? 3 out of the last 4 Cup champions have had someone over $9 million on LTIR. Is that the stat?
Yeah, and they're
I
they're
think so,
kind of
yeah. 3 or out of
tidying
the last
that
4 or 5. Yeah.
well. That's my next bullet point is the new CBA. They're kind of getting rid of the loophole a little bit. We're going to go to 84 games starting in 26-27. Same like total amount of games, but they changed the preseason rules a little bit. Only 4 preseason, and I think there was some more stipulations where you're going to see more rookies and young guns in the preseason games. Regular season moves up to the last week of September, so it's expanding. It's shortening the offseason on the back end. No more 8-year contracts. And I thought this was going to be, we're seeing a lot of 8-year contracts right now. The max is now 7 years, starting, this is going to be the last offseason where you can sign 8-year contracts. So I'm thinking that paired with the cap going up $7.5 million, and, GMs are just going to be antsy. I really thought, and Provorov kind of happened, but I thought guys were going to be getting shit contracts. Just because the GMs are weighed down by all this money in their pockets right now. So I don't know. Like, what's your take on what they're doing with the CBA? 84 games. That's kind of exciting. A couple extra games.
I mean, I say they're adding the couple extra games where I don't think it really helps much. Yes. Half the league makes the playoffs, but I feel like there's got to be something there where we can make the stakes mean a little bit more than just adding 2 regular season games across the board.
It feels like the first step of many. Like they're gonna, this is just the first time they're moving the chains. But for the players, like that's 2 extra games worth of. I think a lot went into like
Gate
escrow
revenue
and stuff, and they were getting the revenue and stuff. So it was an easy yes for the players, especially because they're taking away other preseason games. So you're not like getting free work out of the guys to a certain degree. So for them, it was an easy yes. At least that's what I heard.
More load management leading into the playoffs is all it's going to mean. That's all. Less good players playing at the end of the year.
So that's it for like headlines and stuff. We're going to get into the trades, the signings, the stuff like that. Start off big, guys. Mitch Marner, today was the day. It's done. He is going to be a Vegas Golden Knight, unless, of course, he invokes his no movement clause and tricks Toronto into paying him. I just don't see that happening. So, like, he's going to be a Vegas Golden Knight.
I was like, he plays himself if he stays in Toronto for 12 mil.
Yeah, I definitely thought the number was going to be 13 plus, something like that. But, Vegas, Nevada, another state, no tax.
But Gary Bettman says that's not a problem.
No, it doesn't mean
but no,
anything.
I was actually more
right?
surprised of the 8 years. Everything was pointing to him taking that NBA style contract of like a 3-4 year deal.
That's big money, big term. But he's the type of player. I mean, this shit that really amps up their lineup. He's a first line player. There's no question there. So it's going to be Eichel and Marner. That's pretty fucking cool. Maybe it's Stone on the other side. If somebody wants to swap to left wing. But if not, that's going to push Stone down to the second line, to Mosh Hurdle or, Willie Karlsson, whatever that winds up being. But what do you guys think of the lineup? What is it going to look like?
And that's what, I mean, obviously now they're their right wing depth is insane. I don't know if they stack. Maybe that's something they try at least once, is stacking Marner, Eichel, and Stone. But that's two like really good playmakers with
Left
Eichel
wing
out
is
there.
left wing's busted.
Yeah,
Barbashev, Dorofiev, Saad, Brett Howden.
Yeah.
I'm almost wondering if
right.
they, Dorfe, like throw someone who's a real shooter on that line too. I don't know if Barbashev hangs out there all season.
Yeah. What's your impression here, Raj? What's top 6 going to look like? Who's the beneficiary? Obviously Eichel. Obviously,
Well, Jack
Marner.
Eichel.
Yeah,
Jack Eichel is the winner here for sure. Stone's a great second liner at this point. Like
and it's
he's
good
a
timing
totally
too. Yeah,
totally capable first liner, obviously. But if you have Mark Stone on a second line with Hurdle, that's
Yeah.
fine. I mean, overall, they're not as strong as they used to be, though. Like it's not. Your 40 goal guy used to be Carlson. Riley Smith used to be really good. I don't know. I'm not as impressed as everybody else seems to be. You've kind of lost your elite defenseman. You got Theodore still, but after
And
that,
Nick
it's
Hague
a lot of
too.
bangs, after that.
And I don't know. I know we don't have him in front of us, but I'm wondering what this does for drafting Eichel and Marner. Because I mean, you probably grabbed Marner mid-second round. Like there's not much more he can go up. And then Eichel, I know he was value at where you got him, ended up being
It was like a
top
third
10
or
player.
fourth, third, fourth round, something in that area.
I'd be a little bit more excited about Hurdle too. I find it hard to be excited about him, but if he's going to be flanked by either Stone or Marner, that's an upgrade for him as well, right? Like the right wing is pretty tight right now.
Yeah. I'm a little bit worried, Samsonov, UFA, what's happened to the defense a little bit. Aiden Hill is going to be a risky play next year. I don't know what they're going to do in terms of their backup. Like the UFA goalie class isn't that great. Jake Allen kind of headlines, and that it kind of starts and ends with Jake Allen. Ilya Samsonov, obviously out there. I think it was like David Rittich, Dan Vladar, James Reimer. I forget the other names, but there was really Alexander Georgiev. Like, what are you going to do?
Yeah, not as much
in
of a goalie
UFA?
carousel.
Alex Lyon. Yeah. And then Edmonton too. Like, obviously we'll talk about Gibson a little bit later, but I'm worried about the defense. I'm worried about what it means for the goalies. Adding Mitch Marner, obviously you're going to be able to outscore your problems a little bit better, but I don't know. Is it a better team overall?
I mean, I think if they do, I mean, obviously on the power play, Marner and Eichel are going to be together, and I kind of picture them being together most of the time, which Eichel will be the sniper, obviously, in that situation. So
and that's what I mean. Forward depth is incredible, but it's just, that defense dries up really quickly.
Yeah. What do you guys think in Toronto? We can switch over there. Toronto with a couple neat little moves today. Picked up Matthias Michelli. A lot of people shoehorning him, and I say shoehorn into the right wing position. He's been a left wing for. I was talking to CCC Middleton on Twitter, who tracks manually the positions each game of these players. Michelli's played 93% of his games at left wing. Has played right wing in the AHL 13 times in his only season in the AHL. Nyes, only left wing. Bobby McMahon, 6% of his NHL and AHL games. It's only 15 games total, 4 at the NHL level. He's played at the right wing. Somebody's going to be moving over, or you're going to have Michelli on line 3 as your left winger. Right now, as it stands, who was the top line left wing? I forget, but you got Willie. Right wing. Sorry. Yeah. Right wing.
No, yeah.
Obviously Marner, but before the Michelli thing and people, projecting their own lineups and things like that. I don't know. Like, where do you guys land? Is Michelli a sneaky little sleeper? That's what I'm thinking. So you have Berube. He's gonna at the very least he's gonna try it, right? Like you can't not try it. Yes, there's probably some pre-existing chemistry between Willie and JT, but you can't just leave Matthews on an island like that. So you got to figure they try, and then, but still, that opens up a right wing spot on Tavares' line. So still good for somebody. But I want to know, who do you guys think is going to be that top 6 right wing?
My bet's mystery box. I don't know if they sign someone
Could even be a
tomorrow that
boat.
they try there. Yeah, it could be a boat. We've always wanted one of those. Yeah, I don't know if the solution is there right now.
Nicky Bobby?
I think they're gonna have to spin the wheel a bit. Like, I bet they'll start with Michelli. If that doesn't work, they'll try Robertson, and when those both fail, then they'll stack it and leave Tavares all
Or
alone
I mean,
again, and
shoot, for all we know, this time tomorrow,
Nick
Nikolai
Ehlers.
Ehlers
Yeah.
or a Toronto Maple Leaf.
How much do they have left? Do we know? Let me pull up cap wages real quick.
Yeah,
I
I
think
don't know
it's
what their cap's like.
10, 12 mil maybe.
I mean,
It's
Yeah,
still
I
a
think
they
it's
lot.
around
obviously
there.
just cleared out a mountain of money, so
True.
they got to have something left there. But it's
And
an
I mean,
interesting lineup. It's a really interesting lineup.
6.675.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if that's enough for Ehlers. Someone will offer Ehlers like 10. Something
Mhm.
crazy.
Yeah, or you know what? What if it's Brock Besser?
I was thinking
That
that,
could be
but I mean,
interesting, yeah.
Besser's a finisher. He's not. You
Yeah.
really need a playmaker.
Well, you'd have to go in that
Michelli's-
case. You'd have
he's
to
got
move
that in his wheelhouse.
Willie up and maybe put Besser with Tavares. I don't know.
Mm.
Matthews is a better playmaker than you notice because he scores every time down the ice. When you're scored 60 goals, there's no time to pass. But I don't know. Yeah, maybe Besser isn't the guy. He's probably not. He's on my mind right now for obvious reasons. But I think Toronto's lineup is actually really interesting. I love their center depth. Like, it's pretty.
Oh yeah,
nice.
with the
Lawton-
addition of
Lawton's great.
Nick Roy, however,
Yeah.
I don't know how French Canadian he is.
Yeah, and Lawton is a third. I like that. So I think they're gonna be okay, and I bet Nick Robertson has a bit more of a breakthrough this year. It's taken him forever, but I think he's gonna be a lot better this year.
Yeah, Besser's an interesting one. I know a lot of Toronto fans had Brad Marchand kind of inked in there, but just everybody's taking a team-friendly deal for Florida right now. You know, they did the repeat. It's a hometown discount at this point. I don't know. March or so, maybe available. That could be fun, right?
Ooh.
I remember he was linked to
Reunion in Florida.
No. For Toronto.
Okay.
He was linked to Montreal for a little bit, but I guess they
I think
since
they'd have to
spun it.
get Nashville to retain. And I thought I saw before the show, Nashville has like 10 million dead cap space or something right now.
Yikes.
Just a gong show.
Yikes.
They took big swings and struck out big time. But Marchessault's another shooter too, though. So
Yeah.
they
Yeah, good
seem
point.
like they could use
Let's see what they do,
a setup
you know?
guy.
Excuse me, they could be done. You know, that could be their moves. But you know, if preseason lines come out and Michelli's up there, I think he is going to get a shot at some point. But you know, early
And we'll get
call
overdrafted.
of a sleeper. I don't know. Nye's, you know, tidy bit of business too. Signs long-term teamish friendly deal. He's definitely going to be worth that money. I like that deal for him. All right. Next up, unless you guys have anything else on Marner, I know it was a big one. You know, we'll save the projections and things like that for the team previews and divisional previews and such. But I love it. That's, you know, I hate that Vegas continues, like, they keep getting away with it. They keep doing it. But that's what it is. Yeah, if that's it, we'll move on to Dobson. What do you think?
Oh yeah, I'm
Sad.
sure I'll go first. Stonks down, man.
For Dobby, yeah.
Yeah, well, and they were already pretty low. There's no way you're drafting this guy at around 30 again. Because that was what didn't they sign Tony D'Angelo like as to kind of he was their solution on the power play in the back half of the season.
Everybody was, man. It was so
Yeah.
weird. So they
Stonks
had,
already down.
Yeah.
And then now you got, I mean, that is Lane Hutson's power play in his
Right.
like poster child overskating. But yeah, and then like you said in the notes, I mean, do they on that second unit, do they do 2D, and now you have Matheson and Dobson on that power play unit? Just nah.
I think they're going to go 2D on one of the units. That's my guess. Dobson and
That's
righty.
actually, you know what, with the
Hudson
fire
a lefty.
sale, yeah. I mean, who else could they put on that top unit? Maybe they do too.
You got to figure it's Suzuki, Caulfield, Demidov. Those are locks. Slavkovsky was up there. Line A already got moved down, so it's not like they're pushing him off onto the second unit. But if they go 2D on the top unit, smart move to me, because I think Dobson's going to pair with Hudson, which is going to be great for them both at even strength, I think. Just put Slav on the second unit, and maybe that's like a sinking boat, or a sinking tide sinks all boats or something, because then you have more of a reason to 50-50 power plays. I don't know. Matheson, like career high 62 points before Hudson, literally halved to 31 points this past season. Hudson was getting all the offensive zone starts, all the top power play minutes, so that there was nothing left for Matheson to do. And now you add Dobson on top, like Matheson stock's way down for whatever they were. But Dob, I think he was really good before Patrick Waugh, and then after he wasn't. There was an article on The Athletic today, diving into all the advanced metrics and the per 60s and XYZ. Dobson just kind of like reinvented himself. He focused on defense because that's what he was assigned to do, and he did really well with it. All the underlying metrics looked really good, and if he can do both in Montreal, that'd be huge. And I think a fresh start is going to be super important to him. Getting away from the remnants of the Islanders system is good for anybody. But I don't know. Yeah, Raj, what do you think about this one here?
I'm not so down on Dobson because of where he was last year. Like, I think he's going to be better than he was last year. He was on the Islanders, right? The year before, when he got all those points and he was money in the bank, he was on the Islanders. I mean, this Montreal lineup, it's not cup worthy, but it's exciting. Like, this is an exciting. There's going to be stuff happening here, and I think Dobson, he's not going to be the number one offensive guy because of Hudson's like Hudson, but I think it's going to be pretty close. I think those two guys are going to get a lot of points each. Like, I just think it's going to be, I think I'd put Dobson maybe halfway between his last 2 years. Like, I think he's going to come back, but probably not to where, like, he was running the Islanders a couple years ago.
But for fantasy next season, he's not going to be one of the first defensemen off the board.
No.
Like he was this past year.
Yeah. I wonder if, and I'd love to look this up, like, when was the last time a team had two 50-point defensemen? Like, the one that sticks out to me is the PK Subban, Shea Weber era Nashville, where Roman Josi and PK were kind of sharing, and they both succeeded. They did well. I'm trying to think since then. Carlson,
Letang and Carlson didn't pull it off, did they?
I don't think so.
I doubt it.
I think Letang was injured most of that last couple years.
Burns and Gostisbehere, I don't think they ever did it. Burns and anybody else in Carolina, I can't think of a time. Yeah, if anybody out there in the chat knows last time two defensemen hit 50 points, because I think Hudson can hit 60, and I didn't want to say two 60-point defensemen because I feel like that's rich for Dobson, but could we get two 50-plus defensemen, and how often does that happen?
Oh, actually, you know what?
But
I mean, it's not a trivia show. We don't need to take it too far, but has anybody else on Colorado done it while Makar's been there?
There might have been.
Yeah, even Taze.
Yeah. He might have had a really good season. Yeah, that could be it. Rafalski and Lidstrom. Man, that's a throwback. Okay, so for me, Matheson's DOA. Huge.
I don't know. I would see maybe in categories leagues or Bangers Cats as like a fourth, fifth defenseman might still hold some value.
I think he's not going to be much worse than he was last year, and I don't see a lot of GMs out there having value for him where he was last year. But if you're in a league deep enough where Matheson's 31 points was valuable to you, I don't know that you're really shaving off too much. But it's just like, you know, I was reading an article about this. They have a wealth of defensemen coming up. They're going to have Dobson, Hudson, Gooley, and Reinbacher when he eventually gets there. 2 lefties, 2 righties. You still have Logan Mailloux, Arbor Xhekaj, Jaden Struble, Adam Engstrom, and Matheson. Those are all on the left side, behind Hudson, behind Reinbacher, and Matheson's in that group. You have a ton of left-handed defensemen, so it just makes sense for them to trade. And I think if Matheson does wind up getting traded somewhere, the value starts to come back.
Ooh, I do like Amon. I know we're past the Marner conversation now, but yeah, is Theodore a top 5 defenseman? I mean, maybe in points leagues. Shoot, yeah, with the shallowness of their defense now in Vegas, and that's whatever that power play one's going to consist of.
So I have a question. Did PK and Roman Yossi not hit it in the same year? Because if we're talking 21 to 23, Makar and Taze both either hit it or surpassed 50 points. And then the next
they
one
did last year. So
Detroit
did
90.
Letang and Carlson did last year as well.
Did they really?
Okay.
They both hit 50?
Wow.
Yeah, Letang had 51. Carlson 56.
Damn. All right. So it's sure shit possible that if the fucking Penguins can do it. Yeah. Pretty sure Dobson can do it. But we need to see old Dobson back. That's what's going to happen. Let's get a couple of these little ones out of the way. Daniil Tarasov to the Florida Panthers. Alan, I think he hit the nail on the head here.
Yeah, it's the new backup.
That's the backup. Vanacek's a UFA. He's going to be Edmonton's starting goalie. And yeah. And that's a segue into Anaheim trading Gibson to the Red Wings for Peter Mrazek, 26 fourth and a 27 second. And this is just shuffling deck chairs, right? Like,
I think so. I mean, unless Stevie Y makes some huge swings to make that team better, it's kind of a lateral move. But yeah, like I said, Red Wings, that is a weird way to spell Oilers. That was not the move I thought was going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, I guess trade has to be the way that Oilers address their goaltending. Are they going to bury Stu in Jack Campbell land, who's also on the Red Wings?
Right.
Like $5.5 million goalies just don't work out.
So funny how they just destroy goaltenders.
Yeah. And I'm trying to think, like, okay, so the Red Wings goaltending depth is now Talbot and Gibson. Right. Trade Talbot back to the Oilers. Let him play 73 games again. Shit.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Oh God,
Maybe-
how long
maybe
ago
5
was
years
that?
ago.
And then how much older is Talbot since then?
A lot.
Oh my
fucking
gosh.
older. A lot older. Yeah. You cannot play 73 games. But I don't know. Like this one, if anything, like Mrazek is more of a backup than Gibson was, I think. Like, not to say it was 1A, 1B between
Yeah, because now they have
Dostal and Gibson, but it was closer to a split than it will be, I think, for Mrazek. So for me,
I think Dostal's the 1A now.
yeah, for sure. Without a doubt, I think he's going to get more games than he got this year. And I'd imagine Detroit is just going to 50-50 Talbot and Gibson. And cross their fingers, they make the playoffs. I don't know.
Has there been a more wasted player than John Gibson? Like, do you remember how he was just so elite and just
He really was. Yeah. It was the volume
just
for the most part. But also think of the defense Anaheim had when Gibson was great. They had Shea Theodore. They had Sammy Vatanen, I think.
Montour.
Who else? Montour was there. They had a solid top 4 defenseman. And now they have like a bunch of guys who are 20 years old. Zellweger, Minchikov. You know, there's not a ton
Trouba.
going on. Trouba. Fuck. Yeah, they're just taking $7 million contracts from New York left and right.
Yeah.
Oy. All right. So
That's
yeah,
a name I haven't seen in a minute.
Slava Voinov. Yeah. God. So Kreider, $7 million
Yeah.
from the Rangers to the Anaheim Ducks. How much is really here? I think, he's a great net front guy, probably going to get some power play time. There's not a ton of elite talent in Anaheim. What do they say? 55 points was the leading scorer last year. It was Vetrano. Are we going to get 55 points out of Kreider? No. Are we going to get 50? Probably not. And then it just starts to get a little more bleak. And then, losing Zegras, he wasn't a big part of Anaheim's future plans or current plans or whatever, but I don't know. I'm not optimistic about Anaheim right now, and I don't think this makes sense for them. I didn't understand what they're trying to do. Makes sense for Quenneville.
Weird group right now. Like Killorn, guys like that.
The bag hunters. Yeah.
It's just a bunch of guys who wanted to live in Anaheim. That's all that team is.
Great city, yeah.
The team doesn't make much sense as a team right now.
All right, so let's follow the trade tree. Trevor Zegras to the Philadelphia Flyers. I'm pretty stoked. I think we did a good bit of business. Ryan Poehling, 2025 second-round pick and a 26 fourth-round pick. I like Zegras for us in perfect timing with John Tortorella getting out of there. Rick Tocchet's not too far off personality-wise from John Tortorella, but I think he's gonna let the kids run a little bit more. He's not gonna bench them because they gave up a 2-on-1 the other way or something. But
I think Andrei Kuzmenko would like to talk to you about that. But I think Tocchet is going to soften up in that way because he has to. I mean, he's coming into Michkov and Zegras. He just left Pettersson. So, I mean, he's going to have to come around on the fact that, these guys are you got to let those guys run, right? Like,
why are our destinies so intertwined? Vancouver and Philadelphia. I feel like we can't get away from each other. We both consistently suck.
We do.
Well, that's why I didn't put any notes here. I was gonna let you talk to
yeah.
I mean, is he a lock? Is he a lock for 1C? Do we think he's a lock with Michkov?
I think Michkov, they're gonna play together. It's kind of what you have to do, selling tickets and the fanfare and all that. But I think it makes sense too. Like you have Zegras who kind of bills himself as a playmaker, and then you have Michkov who can score goals, and that's kind of his thing. So I think they're going to work really well together. They're going to have a ton of fun doing it, which is awesome. Like, you got all the fucking Gen Z TikTok kids doing Michigans and grittying on their way back, and Drysdale, there's that reunion. They compete together again. It's going to be great. But I think what it does is it locks Drysdale onto power play 1, which is great. Because there's some clarity about power play 1. There was Cam York and there was Emil Andre, and there was everybody got a shot. Sanheim, everybody did. Bigger minutes, well, not bigger, can't really get much bigger, but different minutes for Sanheim. I think more defensive minded. I'm sure. I think he is going to be a top 6 center because you still have Couturier. He's not what he used to be. He's not a Selke. He's not a mini Barkov anymore. But I don't know if I'm putting Zegras out as a top line center. If he was getting buried at Anaheim, do you think it's going to be a lot different in Philadelphia with the league worst save percentage? Like
Let's say we'll find out.
Away with that.
Sometimes all you need is that change of scenery, and we've seen it before.
Well, Zegras definitely just stopped trying in Anaheim. Like he stopped
a little
shooting.
bit of that line A. Yeah.
He just, and the coach in Anaheim was of the ilk of like,
Cronin,
you got to pay your dues and blah, 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 blah. So I think he'll just be happy to be out of there. Where do you think, do you think they're going to make like Couturier Konechny a pair and Michkov Zegras a pair?
I think TK's got to play with the kids. Like, I think they're going to tear it up. That's a good line. What I think is going to happen, they're going to get bullied because TK, he's a Chihuahua, but you go up against the Darnell Nurse, that line's they're getting bullied. But what's neat, Philly got the fight coach. I think is that an NHL first where they hired fight coaches, had UFC
Didn't they
fighters
bring in a
come to the
UFC
practice?
guy?
Yeah, who
Oh,
I actually
shit.
went to college with. My buddy, one of my old roommates from college, messaged me
nice.
like an Instagram post or something, and he was like, "Dude, we went to school with this guy," and I was just hoping
Nice.
I never accidentally fought this guy because I was an idiot in college. I'm still an idiot, but definitely much less fights than I used to. Yeah, I think if I fought this guy, I'd remember it.
Ristolainen is probably gonna have a lot of weight on his shoulders.
Yeah, he might be our only enforcer, which is wild. I can't think of like everybody else is like, 22 or not a fighter. Bobby Brink's not a fighter. Noah Cate's not a fighter. There's not a lot of muscle there, which is why we're drafting Jack Nesbitt and all these big boys. But I do think it's going to be Zegras, Michkov, TK. I think that's going to be a nasty line. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. We're not going to be winning games, but at least it's going to be fun to watch.
So it'd be like last year's Sharks. Like it'll be great to watch. Great for fantasy, probably too.
No plus minus leagues though.
No.
Colorado sent Charlie Coyle to the Columbus Blue Jackets and Miles Wood. I think that was just a cap dump. They were making some room, and in order to do it, they gave up a bunch of picks and Gavin Brindley to get it back. Or no, the BJs give up picks.
Yeah,
to get these guys. Not much going here. Coyle, I think, is your quintessential 3C. You got your centers in Columbus, so I don't know that this is a ton of value for either.
If Charlie Coyle was valuable to you before, he is still valuable to you.
If he was valuable to you before, where he was orbiting, at least sharing the same ice as McKinnon, you're not anymore. But what do you call it? Smaller fish or smaller pond, I guess.
There we go.
Yeah.
Smaller pond.
Hold on. Zach just texted. I wonder if he's trying to hop in.
Hey.
Oh, no. Yeah, he said he was out in the sun working, and he's all busted up. Burakovsky to Chicago. Okay. I don't think there's a ton there.
Cool story. I mean, even Daily Faceoff has Burakovsky as third line. Like, nah,
yeah,
I'm good.
Yeah.
Third line Chicago players don't do it for you?
No.
No,
okay. Thanks. Speaking of third line, Vladimir Tarasenko to the Minnesota Wild for future consideration. So that's big, right?
For someone,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think Cinco can do any worse than what he had, like 11 goals this past season. I don't know. It's only up from here for him.
This to me, this just screams depth in Minnesota. Like,
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? Nyquist.
Oh
is
shit,
USA,
that's right.
so
They have
I
all
think-
the Sutter and Dumba buyout money coming off the books.
Yeah.
That's probably why they just were able to take the whole cap dump.
Hell yeah. So this to me is just like a Nyquist. Was Nyquist there? Or, no, he was still in. Was he in Minnesota or was he in Nashville?
No,
I
I
can't remember
want to
right
say
now.
he started in Nashville, got traded to Minnesota.
Yeah, I'm confused. Anyway, that would just be. I think it's the same kind of situation. I don't think there's a ton there. Raji, Vander Kane.
Yeah.
What do you think, bud? Just got his butt whooped out of the bar. Was that you?
Well, did he though? That only seemed to happen on Instagram because we talked to his agent today, and his agent's like, I don't know. I didn't hear anything about it. I don't think it happened. But it's just hilarious that, 2-3 days after he gets here, that's in the news. The whole team, the whole problem with the team was like, oh, the locker room's busted. We got to do everything we can to let's go get the worst guy, the worst attitude in all of hockey.
But it's only for 1 year. He is UFA after this year.
Yeah.
Maybe doesn't even get an
love
NHL contract afterwards.
I love it. I think he's 1 year, $5 million. It's not crazy. He's as a hockey unit,
change.
he's what the Canucks need, in theory.
And if you're losing
He's-
Besser, that's your guy.
But he's rugged as shit. You saw a bit in the playoffs. He got burned when he got to play the elite teams at the end. But at the start of the playoffs, he was banging. He was everywhere. That was excellent. He was getting some goals. So if he can do that, that's great for $5 million. It's just like it's the hugest question mark that you could have, right? Like in a volatile locker room.
Yeah.
But the big thing
We're
that's
not going to
different,
open the container of gasoline. We're just going to put it in the room next to the matches.
I'm
We've
just gonna
had
swing
one
my
locker
arms
room
like
cancer,
this.
but what about 2 locker room cancers?
Cancel each
DJ
other
JT
out.
Miller was bad. Evander Kane
but-
will fuck your mom.
The big difference,
We'll
though,
bleep that out. Shit.
the big difference. He just spent 2 years with Connor McDavid, so there's no way anybody's walking into Edmonton's locker room with McDavid and Draisaitl, who are grumpy and the best. So he had to keep his mouth shut for a while. He got.
Dig the fuck in right fucking now!
I'm still waiting
Exactly.
for them to play their best hockey. I hear it's coming.
But the other thing is too, Kane he's got kids now. He's home. He knows if he doesn't perform this season, his career's over.
There's no.
He wants to
what's the casinos
re-sign in
doing
Vancouver for 3 more
Vancouver,
years.
like
He'll be 34 after the
Yeah.
season.
Yeah.
But
So,
I don't know. I
right.
say fantasy wise, if he can hit that like 45, 50 point ceiling with his bangs, this is what you would always draft him for.
Yep. In a categories league, I would swing at him, not reach at all, but I would go for Kane in a bangers league in a second.
I think the deployment's going to be better than it was in Edmonton for sure, because like you said, volatile situation stretches as far as Besser, because 2 days from now, Besser could be somewhere else, right? So does Evander Kane fill the gap that's left by Besser? On your power play, he was kind of a net front. Him and Pettersson kind of like switched net front duties depending on what side of the ice the puck was on. And Kane is a net front build. Like that's what he does. He's good at that. He can do it. But Lekkerimaki is somebody that folks should not forget about, I don't think. But again, there could be 2 vacancies on that power play. JT Miller's gone, so there's still that vacancy. Jake DeBrusk, Connor Garland, however you want to fill it. But Lekkerimaki is coming up. He's doing better. I think there's something there for him. Is it going to be Pettersson, Kane, Lekkerimaki, Quinn Hughes, Garland, Jake DeBrusk, or do they? What does the power play look like? Is Kane top 6 top power play? Is he wait and see what happens? Obviously, wait and see what happens with Besser. But what's the deployment?
Well,
look like for a
Besser's
guy like
gone.
this?
Besser's gone. He's there. I want him so bad. Just he's another thing that the team, like Vancouver, needs goals and it needs vibes, and that's all Brock Besser does is look pretty and score. But he's on the way out. He's got tons of offers coming in, so he's gone tomorrow. I think the other power play person is whoever the Canucks sign tomorrow.
Oh, that's a shame.
I was like, who's left?
And
Yeah.
you know what? Well, that's the thing. It's going to probably actually come through some sort of sign and trade. I'm not going to take off on it, but fuck Jim Rutherford in every possible orifice you can, because he is just an idiot. What should have been done is Besser should have been signed and Demko should be traded for a proper second center, but they won't do that. They're going to sign Demko tomorrow.
Yeah.
To an extension and have $12 million in goalies. Meanwhile, they're going to have to lose. And Seelov's is a one-way contract next year, so he can't go on waivers.
Oh man, and just won the
He just won the
Abbotsford
gold
Cup.
medal for Latvia with the MVP. He won the Calder
With
Cup
Abby.
MVP.
Yep.
He took the Canucks through the playoffs last year. He had a 4 games where he sucked for the Canucks when the team was imploding, and so everyone's like, yeah, he's no good.
So I'm looking at the UFA list right now in terms of like second line centers that you could maybe flirt with. Kuznetsov apparently
Kuznetsov.
eyeing an NHL return. If you really want to get like, put Kuznetsov.
I was going to say
and
you want
Evander
more
Kane in the
locker
same
room cancer. Come
Oh,
on.
let's bring back Lucic. Let's bring them all in.
Fuck.
The new island of misfit toys.
Got
Ugh.
Kuzi and Kane just chopping up lines in the fucking locker room between periods. Doing prop bets and fuck.
Although I hear
Yeah,
Jonathan Drouin is a center apparently, so hey, 2C.
no, whoever signs Druin already paid too much. Not a fan. I don't know. There's not much in the way of centers.
No, there isn't.
Mikhail Granlund, I guess, could be that guy for you, but
I'd rather.
I mean,
have
that's the
Super-
word is Vancouver is taking like a huge swing at Granlund tomorrow.
Yeah, I'd
Yikes.
rather just. I don't know.
yeah, there's not a ton out there.
I'm just gonna let you
There's a
know right
fun
now. I might have a new team by November.
I keep blocking Alan's face. Sorry, but
Oh.
WMW Animations wants to know why you guys think people are rejecting LA and Carolina. This stems back to, I think earlier you were talking about the Rasmus Anderson thing, who Anderson like only wants to go to Vegas, and I don't see how that happens without a huge return to Calgary right now. There's what, -6 million until Petro gets on the LTIR and they can free up some money. I just don't see how they can fit Rasmus Anderson right now as much as they need it. Haig is gone, Petro's gone. That defense is brutal. But anyway, why do you think nobody likes LA or Carolina?
LA surprises me. I mean, you would think that's still a destination, despite how many
They've done
National Guard are there at the moment.
management-wise.
But yeah, LA, I'm kind of surprised unless it's like, yeah, we don't want to face Edmonton in the first round and get booted. Carolina, I just don't see as much of a destination. I wonder if that's why.
I feel like Brindamore is a hard guy to play for and
Yeah.
thrive under.
Yeah. Well, nobody does amazing under Brindamore, and the team doesn't do amazing. Everybody's just good, and the team's just good, but nobody's like, no one stands out. Like, remember how awesome we thought Svetch was going to be and all this kind of stuff, and everyone's just good.
He's got a
Responsible.
Brindamore-sized glass ceiling that he can't break.
Yeah.
Ehlers
I-
linked to Carolina, though. We'll see if he actually, well, I don't know, get a little sun, get out of Winnipeg, I guess. I can't believe Ehlers is going to walk, but
right?
What I heard today about Ehlers is he wants to go somewhere quiet. He doesn't like how much attention there is
In Winnipeg.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So not a Canadian team.
Columbus
think we
Blue
can-
Jackets, come on down.
There we go. Yes, there we go. There we go.
Columbus
Let's
or
do it.
Carolina, yeah.
Yeah. All right, what else do we got?
I think
from the,
Paterka. We didn't cover Paterka.
trades. Oh yeah, JJP. So Utah. Apparently they're going to be pretty aggressive tomorrow, which is nice. They were trying to see if Mitchie would go there. Obviously, Vegas is the destination. Who else were they linked to? I forget. There was something big that
Marchand,
maybe
I think.
Marchand, was it? Yeah. Obviously he stays in Florida. Good vibes in Florida, man. But I think Utah's got some good vibes too. A lot of youth. But I don't see the top line breaking up. Dylan Gunther is somebody that I don't see JJ Paterka unseating. So I think the top line stays together. Keller, Barrett Hayton, or whomever as the top line center, and Gunther. But you probably have, or who was the top line center? Is Hayton's with Schmaltz, and he's going to be your. God, I'm blanking right now. I'm also on hour 30 or so of being awake.
Right now,
Logan
Utah,
Cooley, duh.
Cooley, Keller, Gunther. That's pretty sweet. I
Yeah.
like that.
So I think JJP is probably line two. I don't see any room for him on line, power play one either. Like Sergachev, Keller, Cooley, Schmaltz, Gunther. Plus, factor in the fact that Utah wants to be aggressive tomorrow. So aggressive to me means big game hunting. Like they want to spend money. They want to do the opposite of what Arizona did. So if they're going big game hunting, Ehlers, Besser, something like that, I think Peterka probably winds up behind both of those guys in terms of power play role.
Looking at their lineup right now, their whole top 6 got over 20 goals last year. That's pretty. They're gonna be all right, man.
I mean, they were already kind of in the hunt for playoffs.
They need
last season. They
need a backup
Schmaltzy.
goalie. Connor Ingram still in the assistance program, so a lot of uncertainty there.
come on down, Jake Allen.
Jake Allen, Ilya Samsonov, maybe Alex Lyon. Alex Lyon had a pretty good run with Detroit. The wheels definitely fell off, but I think he strung together a pretty good stretch to the point where, I could see him getting paid tomorrow.
And the jerseys, the
I like those
5-hole
colors.
jerseys that they're
Yeah.
wearing are
Good,
Yeah.
good
so
color
nice,
scheme
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
I dig it. But okay, so JJP, One Way, Josh Doan, Kesselring, they're gonna do their thing in Buffalo, but Buffalo, God, I have no idea what Buffalo is doing. It's so bad. So
How,
bad.
how did
It's
they keep
comically
getting
bad.
worse? Yeah, they're definitely like a hold my beer team. Like, you thought this was bad. Give me a sec. Jeez.
They
Tage,
just drafted
speaking
a
of
defenseman too. They have so many fucking defensemen.
Well, and that's why I put in the notes there. Hopefully, we're talking about Byram getting moved.
They need to. Okay, here's another good one. Marchment to the Seattle Kraken. At least like fantasy relevant. He was pretty good in Dallas. 45-ish kind of range. Not Utah, Seattle again. Another new head coach. Bilesma fired after 1 season. This is their 3rd head coach, and they're going into their 5th year as a franchise. Lane Lambert, famous for his time in Long Island, rolling lines, boring hockey, cap ceilings all around. I don't know. So Marchment, if he stays left wing, behind Schwartz and McCann, probably a line 3 guy. Any fun, optimistic take about this one?
No, I feel like this is just another. Hey, Seattle's got a great schedule. Throw the dart because Bjorkstrand's not there anymore, and
Seattle Streamers, baby.
Yeah,
I think you could pretty much call their top 9 streamers, actually. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Probably wouldn't stream Kako, but most of the other guys. Yeah.
Yeah, not much going there.
Lot
Couple signings that happened today. Bouchard gets paid nice 10.5 mil. Good
That's
for
pretty
him.
good.
That's a good contract when you just look at Bouchard. But once you realize that they're spending 21 million on 2 defensemen, it looks bad. But that's entirely Darnell Nurse and Chiarelli's fault. That was Chiarelli, right?
Their coaches were not watching the finals because the reason they lost is those 2 players.
Yeah, there was a couple bad turnovers, but I think Bouchard is he'll be worth every dollar.
He's fantastic, and give it towards the end of the contract. He's young enough; he's going to be good for the whole contract, and by the end of it, the way the cap's going, it's going to look a lot more reasonable in a couple of years. But just when you put it for $21 million for
2 for Bouchard, essentially.
I mean, there's where the goalie money is that they're giving it to Bouchard and Nurse.
I'm hiding Allen again because I forgot I did want to talk about this in terms of back to Marner. WMW Animations says he's wondering if Shesterkin bounces back if Gavrikov resign or signs with New York, which he's a good stay-at-home defenseman, but here talking about Vegas, Eichel gets back to being a volume shooter, 40 goals. You got Marner beside him. Eichel kind of reinvented himself last year, over the last couple of years, where he really highlighted his playmaking. You don't need to do that anymore when you have Mitch Marner. Like the passing ability on Marner is going to be great. Volume shooter, probably we can hope to see over 4 shots a game from Eichel again. Vintage Buffalo days.
Yeah.
I think it's great for Eichel. Really good for him.
You know what? I think that whole thing, we didn't mention it earlier, but I think that's good for Theodore too. Between that and the Petrangelo.
Oh, and that's what I
deal.
think. Yeah,
Yeah.
Amon
Lone
up
Wolf
in the
now.
chat was like, "Does he become a top 5D?" I mean, maybe in points, pure points leagues.
Yeah, I could
That's
see
a
it in the points
possibility.
league. There's not a ton of bangs there, but I think Shea Theodore is somebody that always gets overlooked, and in the draft at least. But a lot of that had to do with just the uncertainty about the power play because Petro was there. So what happens to his draft stock? Like, is he's not hiding behind Petrangelo this year. So where does he get highlighted? And that reminds me, oh shit, is today Monday? Oh, the mock drafts were supposed to start today. I totally forgot. But that reminds me, everybody, we're doing mock drafts again. You can join the Discord, and we're doing slow mock drafts all off season. We want to see how things change after free agency day, how the ADPs go. We'll be able to like trend it month by month. And, as news comes out, as lines come out, we're going to see where the ADP is, our in-house ADP project. So join the Discord, get in on some mock drafts. We're going to be having fun. And apologies to everybody who signed up thinking the draft was going to start tonight. They're slow drafts, so it's not like anybody was sitting at their computer waiting for me to hit play or anything. But yeah, it's always a good time. Yeah, sorry everybody. Nyes signs in Toronto. We talked about that. Sam Bennett stays in Florida. Ekblad stays in Florida. Marchand stays in Florida. Tavares, team-friendly deal, 4.38 times 4. That's fantastic. Connor Garland, what do you think about this one in Vancouver? Is that one?
I don't know if it's final, Raj. You might have to weigh in on that one. I saw 6x6.
Yeah. Awful.
What's the number on Demko? Is there
Awful.
rumors behind it?
No, the only thing we were talking to Darren Dreger today, and he said the only thing he knew is he was told it's not 4 or 5 years. They wouldn't tell him if it was 6 years or 3 years.
3 or 6, yeah.
We Vancouver
hope it's
already
3.
has Lankinen, who's
Yeah.
fine. Seelov's awesome prospect, young goalie. Demko, maybe Vezina, maybe doesn't ever play again. Like, I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do. Like, I've been all about trading him. But yeah, so he's gonna sign for that. Connor is 6x6, which I think is too long, too much. Like, I do a 6x3 for Garland, maybe, but like he should be more like a 5x4 kind of thing. He's not that good. Like, he's fun. Everyone loves him because he's tries really hard and he's small, but he gets like 47 points. Like,
Tries
that's
hard,
a
loves
great
the game.
year. Yeah, great locker room guy.
Bunch of other re-signings, Riley Smith in Vegas. Sorry, what else do you have on Garland?
No, I was just that's enough.
Anybody that wants to hear more Vancouver Canucks stuff, is it all right to plug Sekros and Price for you?
Yeah.
So Roger's working
Price,
on
man,
Sekros
every
and
day.
Price. Check it out. And yeah. Riley Smith back in Vegas. Jamie Benn re-signs in Dallas. Mason Larai in Boston. Fabian Zetterlund, huge fan of this guy's game. Extends in Ottawa. Giroux as well. Trent Frederick, 8 years.
The old Stan Bowman special.
Oh, fuck, dude. Anyway, Brock Nelson extends in Colorado. That one's I don't hate that contract, especially for 3 years. 7.5 that's a big number. Ryan Donato re-ups in Chicago. Here's one we can talk about. Johnny Tays in Winnipeg.
Barf.
Long time since he's played. He's been in Nepal, chugging ayahuasca. Don't know what he's been up to. Hasn't played. No idea what to think about it. But I think
I don't
these
think
are
it'll
your
be
notes
fantasy
here.
relevant.
Alan, you
Yeah.
think he's just Lowry insurance to start the year?
Yes. Yeah, because isn't Lowry out for at least the first month? He had some kind of surgery or something.
But I think Tays kind of fits in nicely as a 2C. Fuck. Sorry.
You think too?
Allergic to Johnny
You think they'll
Tays.
put him that high?
I think,
I mean, and that was
what-
my other notice. Has
don't
he
really
had
have-
any ice time in the last 2-3 years?
I'm really curious to see what his game looks like after such a long stretch. Like, Vlad Nemesnikov is not a 2C.
God no.
And as much as we try Perfetti there, it's not happening. And like you said with Lowry, he's more of a third line, like checking defensive, like he's your two-way guy. And then there's not really a ton else. They've needed a 2C for a long time.
Fantasy relevance? No. I mean, what
I
do you
think
have
that's
his
where he
last 2
starts.
seasons? Like 40 points.
I think you got to start him in the top 6, see how his legs are, and then, move him down if you got to. But I think he starts there. I do.
Yeah.
I'm not interested though.
Yeah.
It's like what other
risky.
teams have great schedules that week? Like I'm not. Nah.
Right. Yeah. Any other signings or trades or anything like that? Like Patrick Kane re-signed in Detroit today, just recently. Kuzmenko in LA.
Yeah, they actually gave Kuzmenko a respectable amount of money. I'm interested in what he does next season because he got traded to LA and then was pretty much point per game from that point for the rest of the season.
Great in the playoffs.
Interested. He's someone definitely I'd take a late swing at that could pay off for you.
Yeah, I think like he's good. Like everyone thought that he had 39 goals. Like he had 39 goals. And then he got docketed. And then as soon as he got put back into a position to play in the top 6, he's doing it again. So the only time he didn't do it was when he didn't really have a chance to do it. So I would absolutely take Kuzmenko in later rounds of a points league. I don't think he's
Good
had a
power play
hit
guy.
in his career, but
Like really good net front presence.
Yeah.
Kind of a tip-in merchant, but if it goes in, it goes in. What are you going to do?
Absolutely.
All right, so UFA day tomorrow. Maybe I'll hop on, but probably not. I was kind of hoping that we would still have Marchand to talk about tomorrow. Not so much. Besser and Ehlers could be done overnight. When I wake up, they're probably going to be done, and then we're just waiting on Gavrikov to sign and Kuznetsov rumors. Brent Burns out there, man. I think somebody's going to give him a chance. There's a couple other, like the right wing or right-handed defenseman. It's really thin. The goalie market doesn't look that great. Like outside of Besser and Ehlers, like who is left to get excited about? Granlund, maybe?
Yeah, I would say Granlund would be the next biggest fish.
Yeah. Any increase in Marchand stocks now that he's staying in Florida?
And he's probably still middle 6. I mean, I can't remember.
He's going to get
power
right
play
wing
1 or
eligibility. So maybe he'll be left wing, right wing. I think that's valuable.
Yeah, I don't know how much offense he's got left. That's all.
Yeah, that contract. What did I put in this? Yeah, that contract is till he is 43. Do we think he plays out all of that contract?
Well, they're doing away with the playoff loophole, so maybe.
Playoff.
Florida their management is perfect.
Yeah, they finally got together. It's crazy.
Well, they have the tax thing. They are playing it like the tax thing doesn't make you win the cup.
No,
but it's a humongous advantage.
Sorry,
it's
Nashville.
A humongous advantage.
Yeah, acting like it's not a factor that players think about when they're signing somewhere. Like, oh, I get to keep an extra 8-9% of my paycheck. All right, yeah.
Well, I mean, you compare that to like California or most of Canada, and it's like you're talking like 10% of your check is just gone all of a sudden. And Florida, they've also figured out the LTIR trick. Like they've really got it down. And then people are wearing flip-flops to the game, so everyone's happy to be there. And
then oh no, I got suspended for like the back half of the season to rest up and be back.
Sorry, guys, I was doing a bunch of drugs.
But now,
but don't worry, they take that off the cap too. So you could just do steroids and you just cap relief for that now? Like, Jesus. They got away with one or two. This year.
I'm looking at this list. There's a couple of guys to me that that could be value signings. And, you know, if a lesser team goes for a Mangiapane, Jack Roslovic, I think at a reasonable number, I think you can get a lot of production, you know, relative to how much you're paying them. Those are, and Mason Appleton is, I think, a really good signing, is going to wind up being a good signing somewhere. You know, they're not exciting fantasy guys to talk about, but if you're trying to build a good team, like those are your money ball pieces.
I know we shit on him, but Drouin, there were some good points on Reddit today about like Edmonton as a spot
Don't say
for
anything
him.
nice about
They
him.
probably don't have money for him, but he just spent the last few years being a McKinnon merchant. Could you imagine sticking him with Dry or McDavid?
Yeah, the 30 games that he's healthy for, he's going to probably do pretty well.
Yeah, he'll be fantasy relevant those weeks.
And they are, I guess, Corey Perry's out on the market too, so they're going to need and I think Arvidsson's on the trade block, so they need wingers. Evander Kane's gone, Jeff Skinner's walking. Like, you need something. I wonder what they do. Tomorrow's going to be super interesting. A lot of people are going to get overpaid. It's going to be easy to have high blood pressure tomorrow. Hopefully my Flyers don't do anything stupid.
They're signing Drouin. There we go. Yeah, Jake.
No. Don't speak that into existence at all. But what do you think, guys? Put a bow on this one?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
So,
Ladies and gentlemen, that is June news recap. Tried to cover in a brief way all the trade signings, things like that have happened since we started the Dynasty Series. I got one more episode for the Dynasty Series. Scott Wheeler said he'd come on for post-draft kind of like reactions, things like that. We're going to, break it down after, take a little bit hindsight into it. So got one more episode on the draft, but we're going to get back into off-season content. Looking forward to that. So check us out on Twitter at FaceJeff Hockey. We got the Fantasy Hockey Discord, mock drafts, things like that. Yeah, that's it. Love you guys. Bye.
Good night, everybody.
Powdered sugar. Adios, turd nuggets.